Hello everyone, it's Ashwin Rao. Today's video features a unique makeup that I scored on the used market from renowned Italian shoemaker Antonio Meccariello. And this is specifically his Valerius loafer, built on a round last that you'll see here. We're going to get more into the details. Features essentially an apron. This is a hand-stitched apron, but really done more in the style of, say, an indie boot, where there's no separate piece of leather, there's no pie crust, there's really no raised edge here. It's really just 2 rows of stitching done in contrast. The reason that I purchased this particular pair was for the opportunity to own this very unique leather that I had never seen before. This, my friends, is a full grained suede leather. So you don't really hear about grained suede all that often. Certainly I hadn't. And I'd seen this particular pair owned by a couple of enthusiasts in the community on Instagram and other places. And I really started a search for grained suede. I believe that occasionally it's released by companies such as John Lobb, but it's certainly not the most common tannage. And in fact, I'm not entirely sure who the tannery is that manufactures this particular suede. But Antonio had it and made this on his Argentum Ducks line. I believe that this was a leather that was available through one of his online collaborators who stocked some of his in-stock shoes. And the Argentum Ducks line features the Argentum partly machine welted construction, but also some special embellishments that elevated to beyond their traditional ready-to-wear Argentum line on his website. So I wanted to take you through some of the details of this particular shoe. Flipping it onto its sole here, you can see this has a very elegant rounded near fiddleback waist. I think some people would call this some sort of hybrid between rounded and fiddleback. You see the scalloped heel block and just an all black sole. I did refinish this sole, but it was originally all black. I refinished it using some Fibings sole paint as well as an Angelus acrylic finisher to give it back its shine. Here you can see the back heel block with this gently tapered heel block with this detail on the edge dressing that meets the upper, which has a back seam here. You can see this separate piece of leather that makes up the collar of the shoe. Very slightly beveled, almost block-like heel, which does have this step off between the heel block and the waist. If we pull into the waist, you can see that the edge is beveled and kind of rounded at the edge right there, and that tapers into the rounded, gentle fiddleback waist here. And you can see that beveling on the inset as well. You can see that there is a bit of fudging done along the outsole here, and it's pretty challenging to actually see the outsole stitching. You can see it there, but it's almost partly recessed. And that sole and stitching, the outsole stitching, does end up hiding at this point, and that's a blind waist that forms the remainder of the interface between the upper and the sole. And you can see similarly the blinded waist right here as well. Very beautifully done, and some of the reasons why Antonio Meccariello is considered one of the best shoemakers of ready-to-wear and made-to-order shoes in the world. I really do think that Antonio's quality punches well above his price point, because he features unique leathers such as this particular grained suede leather. That beautiful designs, including this round-toed last. This is a classic loafer last. Here you see his pretty classic hinged shoe tree, but it has a hinge and a slight pivot point to it. His insole has the Meccareiello branding and the Argentum designation. You can see this is his A969 last in size 9.5. Other features that I like are this slight nap on the heel here that provides a little grippiness so there's less heel slip. All in all, just a beautiful shoe that I was able to get on the used market for quite a nice price, that's held its age well, has not seen a ton of wear, and will serve me well in years to come. I actually have a separate pair of Meccareiello Valerius loafers in a pigskin. Slightly different last, slightly different shape to the apron, slightly different style to the apron, and obviously a different leather. So I figured it was worth the variation since we're coming into and through the winter and we'll be heading soon into loafer season. So this will give me an opportunity to try something different that might fit my wardrobe slightly differently. So grained suede in this dark brown colorway from Antonio Meccariello via his Argentum Ducks lineup. Well worth considering if you happen to find one on the used market. Hope you're all doing well. Take care and have a good one. Goodbye.